Rapporteur Nacho Sanchez-Amor is already ready to start the discussion. Nacho.
Thank you, Sergei, and thank you both. There's very complementary approaches that I share almost fully. On the elections, I agree. I like a lot this partially free and massively unfair. I think it's very descriptive, Professor Levin. First things, Erdogan managed to choose who would be the candidate of the opposition, getting rid of Imamoglu and maintaining Imamoglu as a hostage, not only for being able to be the candidate of the opposition in the past election, but even for the local one. And the other approach is the opposition never challenged the framework. When I was looking at the news and following the issues in the campaign, it seems like a Swedish campaign. Not a single problem about the rule of law, not complained about the massive presence of Erdogan in media, not mentioned of the political landscape. It was like a normal democracy conducting an elections. And then, when the opposition failed, it was not the time to remind the people that the opposition was launched to the elections with not a fair level playing field. It was late, because I don't know why they were so overconfident, over-optimistic about winning the elections in the first round. I don't want to enter in what could be the consequences in every party and the reluctance of Mr. Kılıçdaroğlu to, let's say, to resign or other. This is not my position. I can do it. On the post-election landscape, the key issue to me, and I'm receiving a lot of ideas and messages and opinions about the key issue that I launched in my draft report on this year. It is realistic to continue maintaining the idea that Turkey is an accession country and then to maintain a cynical, dysfunctional accession process or not? Because I didn't catch, Professor Levin, your word when you said the accession process is, I can't catch the idea. It's a good idea to get rid, and it's a good idea to start talking, to start thinking about another format. But this is the main issue we have to deal with in the Parliament in the coming months. What to do with the accession process? The accession process never has protected anyone from the revengeful state policies. The accession process in itself has not protected any single activist, journalist, LGBT association, and anyone. We have not been able. Why? Because the accession process only functions when there is a political will to become a democracy. If there is no political will to conduct reform, the accession process is completely empty and useless and becoming more and more dysfunctional because we are not thinking about other frameworks because we have this, let's say, unrealistic umbrella of the accession process. But this is the key question I would like to know from you both. What is your idea? Could be conducive to maintain even being dysfunctional the accession process. It's the right time to really look for another format in the relation. Of course, I'm sure, and this is my main concern, Sergei's concern, the Parliament concern, that the civil society, the pro-European progressive civil society could feel abandoned in some way for the European Union. This is our main obsession, if you want. We have to maintain the support to the civil society, and we have means to do, even not having the accession process. And this is my question to you. What do you think about this key question? Is the right time to start thinking about to substitute the accession process or not? Thank you both. Well, I'm trying to talk a little bit more on NATO, but first, sometimes we are confronted with the idea that there is a massive support in the society in Turkey about the European Union. And when you dig a little bit, one thing is to join the European Union, other thing is we want visas. And sometimes there is overlapping of the issues. Regular people in Turkey, they want visas. And this is a thing, and for that reason, they are able to do some sacrifice. For having visas, contrary to the propaganda of the government saying European Union has not abided for the commitment on the refugees deal, it's not. In the refugees statement or deal, it was clearly stated that visa is conditional to the fulfillment of 6 benchmarks. The government never sent one piece of draft legislation to the parliament to change things, and then we have to repeat publicly, and I do frequently, you are not in line with your commitment, you have not complied, you are not having visas. Even if in the draft report we include the idea of facilitated visa for the Erasmus students. But we have to differentiate. There is a real political will in the majority of society about being part of the European Union, or is only the idea of the visas plus the idea of the democratic protection? On NATO, Professor Levin, the process has been a disaster from the very beginning. Your societies, Swedish society, encounter, let's say, opportunity window to review a very traditional position because the war. This is a momentum. We have to keep the momentum. This was the right decision, and your country and Finland, they apply to the NATO. And apparently, both countries received some reassurances from Turkey that no problem with that, but then apparently there was a change, and then immediately President Erdogan created this conditionality, inverse conditionality. And Swedish authorities, the former government, reacted like any democracy. I have a problem with a neighbor, I send an embassy, I send some delegates to talk about. But this Turkey is not a democracy. You were used immediately in the domestic game of Erdogan. And Erdogan said publicly, don't send me any embassies, don't send me any delegates, you know what you have to do. Then the idea is, it's not Turkey who has to improve the democratic standard, it's Swedish who have to diminish the democratic standard. And this is the thing that has been evoked by Sergei, is completely upside down. And then you enter in this bargain instead of saying, is what I will do. I apply for NATO, I receive a veto, you have to decide. You, the guys inside the club. And if the question is about F-16 or your other quarrels, is on you. You have to decide if you want us inside or not. And not to enter in a bilateral negotiation with the only country having bought Russian missiles. Never mentioned. Swedish never mentioned the idea of receiving a veto for the only country inside NATO having bought Russian missiles. The same type of Russian missile that could threaten my sovereignty. Never use. You enter in the trap fully. And in a way that even Stoltenberg claims has been useless, because you enter in the trap. And the right decision is you have to decide. If this is about the F-16, it's completely on you guys, on the members of the class. I'm waiting at the door that you solve your issues, but I'm not going a bargain chip for Turkey having F-16s. But because the progress was, in the way I think I depicted, a thing has become absolutely. So I have been very clear. To veto Swedish entrance in NATO is not only helping the political Russian agenda, it's helping the military Russian agenda. Let's be clear. This is about the war. This is not about diplomatic games. Vetoing the reinforcements of the north flank of NATO is reinforce and endorse and support the Russian military agenda. And this is a very grave thing. I never heard from the colleagues from NATO that kind of statement. And I think we have, with Turkey, you need to be vertical, you need to be assertive. This is the only way to deal with Turkey. And you have to say the same things in Brussels and in Ankara. It's the only way to do. If you enter in the bargain, you are going to be used as Sweden has used in the domestic arena, because the rationale was, you see, guys, you see the public opinion. If you are demanding, if you are that kind of thing, the peoples came to bend on the Sultan before the Sultan. That this was the image, unfortunately, that Sweden passed, especially when the new government started to talk not only on the PKK. This has not been necessarily underlined. The problem in the European Union is the PKK. The PKK is the only organization enlisted in the... But the new Ministry of Interior of Sweden started to talk the same narrative for Turkey. PKK, YPG, and then the whole Kurdish world. And Turkey has to understand that in Sweden, not one single minister can talk to the phone to the judge to do things contrary than in Turkey. And for that reason, this is a conundrum that I don't...